Hey there. I thought I'd share a little bit about when I first discovered that our daughter could be on the autism spectrum. It was kind of a little bit of a time coming. So I first noticed that she wasn't really responding to her name and she wasn't really mimicking me or talking after me. And sometimes she would just babble with a very blank face. And I don't know, I just felt something was up. Call it that mom gut, mom intuition. So we took her to an audiologist at the Bill Wilkerson Center here in Nashville. That's where we live. And, they were great. They put us in this soundproof room to do the hearing test. And what's interesting is that as soon as we walked in, she saw how dark it was and kind of enclosed, and she just started crying incessantly, like would not stop. And they tried to do some of the audio tests, but they really couldn't do much. They gave it their best go, and I tried my best to console her. They put a few things in her ears to hear if she heard sounds, but she really wasn't doing well at the test at all because she was just constantly crying. And, I might have just left there feeling frustrated. I mean, I'm sure I was crying at one point. But there was, the audiologist was really smart and really sensitive to kind of how I was feeling. And she said, hey, have you ever looked at anything about autism in girls, because it can present really differently than in boys. And at this time I was pretty sure, I'm kind of not thinking that would even be an option, not my daughter, right? And I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe. She said, well, I know this great nurse who would be willing to talk with you for a little bit and just kind of answer questions if you want her number. And she couldn't give me her number, but she said, I'll make sure she calls you. And she took my cell phone number. And looking back at this, I'm just like amazed that she took this much time to talk to me about it. So all of a sudden I get a call from a nurse and she's like, hey, I heard that you might have questions about your daughter and hearing and maybe autism. And I said, yeah, so she carefully answered questions for me, told me about a few of the symptoms, but also was like, there's this website called autismnavigator.com where you can go and look at kids who act typically right next to kids who behave with autism, kids who have autism, that, and how they behave with the same prompts. And I thought, okay, I'll go take a look. Well, my husband and I sat down and we watched this, and I would say maybe half of the things we were like, oh yeah, that definitely looks like our daughter. Half we were like, oh, I'm not sure. But I'm so grateful for this woman who took her time out to talk to a nurse. And then when I finally looked up who this nurse was that I was talking to, it turned out to be like she was the chair of something in autism at Vanderbilt, in their children's unit. And I was just like, wow, what a blessing. Like, honestly, we were very fortunate. So all I want to say is I recommend, definitely, if you're thinking in any way, shape, or form or concerned at all, definitely give it a consideration. Look for experts in your area and just see if you can talk to them a few minutes or get screened, or, even go to this autismnavigator.com website to see. Oh, and I have one more tip for you that I will post in another video.